past weekend, we again had some robberies. Thank God that no one was seriously hurt in the process. That same weekend, I had discussions with the Chief of Police, Mr. Carl John, on the situation, and early Monday morning, I met with him and the police management team to further discuss the situation. At that point, I was presented with a plan of action, an immediate plan of action to deal with the situations with the robberies. Now, mind you, there are other situations that we are dealing with at the same time. It's not just the robberies. There are other investigations that are taking place and other actions that have been initiated. So, for instance, the search at the prison in which that weapon was found. We discussed thoroughly the plan of action, and these crimes that are taking place because of the manner, the modus operandi in which they take place, and the violence that go along with it, they are labeled as high-impact crimes and have a very negative effect on the sense of safety and security within the community. This plan is a plan that I initially broached the plan, or mentioned the plan in the meeting of the Council of Ministers yesterday, and will come with a definite proposal for the implementation of this plan to the Council of Ministers latest Tuesday. And hopefully, after discussing it, we would be able to approve it and get some immediate action going. Having said that, it is not like nothing is happening. As I speak right now, there's a very large-scale control taking place on the pond field. Oh, maybe I should have said that. But anyway, large-scale control taking place. And we read in the papers the other day that a high-powered weapon was found also in a search. We will see as we go along these type of actions intensify, and hopefully the results would also be there. The situation, as I have said before, and I agree with the concerns that are that is in the public right now, that it's a situation that needs high priority to deal with. Later this week, to be exact on Friday, I will also be meeting with the Insurance Association along with the Merchants Association. And mind you, I did not say Indian Merchants Association because there are other merchants also that are victimized by these crimes. So the Merchants Association, and it is we have said it before, the police cannot do everything, and all of us in the community would also need to evaluate the situations and see what we can do to at least lessen or lower the risk of falling victims to these type of crimes. So that would be our meeting on Friday, and hopefully in the press briefing next week I'll be able to say more on that.
Call me with mistaken me and Calypso lovers, people of St. Martin, listen up. Raw Promotions Foundation, in collaboration with the FCDSM, proudly present the first St. Martin Calypso tent for 2017 on Tuesday, February 21st at the Carnival Village in Gallows Bay, Marigot, starting at 8 p.m. sharp. You say you love Calypso? Well, come out and see King Bobo, the Mighty Fox, His Majesty Baker Jr., Ebony Empress, Dr. Ray, Lady Righteous, the Mighty Pepper, the Chipman, Shira, and St. Martin's first female Calypso monarch, Shakira. The Calypso tent is sponsored by Nagico, Fast, Fair, and Always There, and UTS and Chippy. The admission is only $10 or €10. Don't forget the date, Tuesday, February 21st at 8 p.m. sharp. See you there. Out, out, out. Hands bite me.
Let me know. Water ultimate. Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going. I going. I going. I going.
I going.
I going. I going.
With the right.
Ik ga.
Are you going? Friday, April 28th, Carnival Village.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
I would say many of the meetings with the tour operators were extremely positive. There is a certain sense in the marketplace that St. Martin's been out of sight, out of mind, and that a need for a more sustained marketing approach is critical. My recommendation to the Council of Ministers and to the Tourism Department is to work towards a annual budget where they're putting their marketing money out early, not piecemeal. And the other thing is to recognize that the tourism industry, the tourism cycle may not work exactly the way that our annual budgets work, and that we need to take that into account, because it does seem that our budgeting process and our approval process isn't really in sync with the tourism industry, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed. But again, I'll be making a report to the Council of Ministers. In addition, I think we had a number of meetings together with the French side, I think trying to renew the cooperation. Right now, there's very limited cooperation, mostly centered around SMART, which is going to be June 14th to 16th of this year. But we had some discussions with different tour operators, again, about working together with cooperative marketing, trying to bring our limited marketing funds to work together. Fact is, tourists, tour operators see the island as one island, and by marketing it separately and without any coordination, it really does sort of confuse the marketplace and I think dilutes the limited marketing dollars that the country has available. Also had a productive discussion with Airbnb. This is a discussion that's going on throughout the Caribbean, this shared economy, so people that are renting accommodations directly. Of course, from a finance perspective, we'd like to see some revenues that are by law obligated to come into the country that are not coming in. Airbnb and different countries are in discussions about how they can facilitate the collection and turning over of those funds. But it's a discussion with finance in terms of transparency, in terms of data. And again, these conversations will be ongoing and will be turned over to the incoming Minister of Tourism to follow through on the discussions. Being somewhat of an opportunist, I used the opportunity as well to do some work for the Ministry of Health. There was a meeting with the Deputy Premier, Minister of Tourism, from Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands is the home of Health City. So I met with the minister, Mr. Moses Kirkconnell, and we are in discussions actually about bringing in a weekly flight from Cayman Islands. They have a discussion about a Saab 340, which is a 34-seat plane, but they would look at 24 passengers. And so we're looking at a weekly rotation as a test to see if there's sufficient business to bring our health customers to Cayman Islands to use their facility. Again, some discussions ongoing about, how do we fix our travel costs, and I've asked them to see if they would be willing to provide a fixed tariff for the airfare rather than a fluctuating tariff based on demand. So that's a very positive discussion, I believe, in terms of a cooperation between Health City, Cayman Islands, and St. Martin and SZV. In addition, I had an opportunity to meet with representatives from the Bahamas National Health Insurance. They are also going through a process of looking at national health insurance. So they made a presentation, had an opportunity to speak with different stakeholders, all to get a sense of what they're doing, why they're doing it, how their approach is. Again, I believe that any lessons we can learn from our neighbors, whether they're success stories or failures, anything we can do to make our system better, the better it is for the people and for the limited resources that we have. A couple other points I'd like to touch on. I think that the current environment in healthcare, in particular around the hospital and with the inspectorate, has been a rather tense environment. I don't believe that this is conducive to really developing the quality of care that we need for St. Martin. And I think that there's a number of letters that I've received, complaint letters, but there's also a lot of rumors, there's a lot of melee in the market, in the community as well.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles from within your reach.
Call me with mistaken me I. Calypso lovers, people of St. Martin, listen up. Raw Promotions Foundation, in collaboration with the FCDSM, proudly present the first St. Martin Calypso tent for 2017 on Tuesday, February 21st at the Carnival Village in Gallows Bay, Marigot. starting at 8 p.m. sharp. You say you love Calypso? Well, come out and see King Bobo, the Mighty Fox, His Majesty Baker Jr., Ebony Empress, Dr. Ray, Lady Righteous, the Mighty Pepper, the Chipman, Shira, and St. Martin's first female Calypso monarch, Shakira. The Calypso tent is sponsored by Nagico, Fast, Fair, and Always There, and UTS and Chippy. The admission is only $10 or €10. Don't forget the date, Tuesday, February 21st at 8 p.m. sharp. See you there. Out, out, out. Hands bite me.
Let me know. Water and wine.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going.
I going. I going. I going. I going. I going.
I going.
I going. I going.
With the bike.
Ik ga.
Are you going? Friday, April 28th, Carnival Village.
I'd like to update the general public on some issues within public education that are being dealt with, particularly the Leonard Connor School. We've been talking about that for quite a while. I believe last week we mentioned that we did secure the funding and had the meeting with the contractors, etc. The funds have been transferred to the contractor, the initial startup funds, and the critical upgrades at Leonard Connor School are slated to start as of yesterday. As stated before, it was slated for 4 weeks, so we expect that by March 7th, it will be completed. Monday, kickoff meetings were held between representatives of the Ministry of ROMI, the Department of New Projects, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, represented by Division Public Ed, the contractor HEMCO, as well as the contractor CECC, which had conducted the critical upgrade study, who has been charged with the supervision of this project. So we expect that with all hands on deck and the finances being in place, that we can expect this to be resolved sooner rather than later. And I thank all for their patience over the past months in dealing with this. ROMI, that the removal of the asbestos has started this week and is slated to be ended by the end of this week, done by asbestos specialist Beve from Curaçao. The works are in full progress, going well, and are slated to be completed at the end of the week on Friday. By next week, then, the contractor that won the bid will then start with the demolition and move forward to phase 1 of the building, which is projected to be 8 classrooms and expected to be completed within 6 months. With regards to sports, the St. Martin Sports and Olympic Federation, SMSOF, was able to secure membership to the Central American and Caribbean Sports Organization, CACSO. Through the collaborative efforts of the SMSOF, the NSI, and the Sports Department, we registered 11 Olympic sports to be able to participate in Caribbean and Central American and Caribbean, as well as Pan American Games. The doors have also been opened for the official participation in these games. This may also lead, I said may, to the qualification to the Olympic Games 2020 for St. Martin for the very first time. So these are very important first steps that have been taken. The 11 Olympic sports are athletics, aquatics, boxing, canoeing, cycling, judo, volleyball, sailing, table tennis, taekwondo, and triathlon. Basketball and baseball and gymnastics are in the process, so they have not yet been qualified. However, we have qualified 11 sports, and I think for this, we would like to extend as government a great congratulations to the St. Martin Sports and Olympic Federation on this achievement, as we as a ministry are looking forward to continued efforts of collaboration to ensure that the development of our athletes and sports for all. This is an amazing step in the right direction, and I congratulate all who have made it possible. In recent discussions also, I think you've seen that press release, several organizations, a lot of people, we sit in our behind our computers. It's very easy to chat, to comment on what is or isn't happening on the island. However, I took the time out to open the elementary school football tournament. Last year, towards the end of the year, the secondary school tournament was ended. The St. Martin Volleyball Association is also carrying out their school tournament, and it's a very small group of volunteers that makes this happen. Instead of sitting in our seats and talking, I would like to encourage the general public to put your hand in, get your hands a little bit dirty in helping our youth, because it is constantly the same people day in, day out. And when they are burnt out, if they quit or they drop out, then our youth are left hanging. So in order not to have that, I would like to encourage all of you who have an extra hour or two per week to find an organization that caters to the youth, whether it's in education, whether it's in sports, whether it's in arts, or any other youth-related event. We have the Youth Brigade. We have several organizations that are on the books doing a lot for our students. We can sit back and ask, why is crime elevating? Why are our youth this or why are our youth that? But it will require not just government and not just the organizations. It will require the village. And the village is you, the village is me. So I'm encouraging all of you to find somewhere to give your time to our youth. Talk is cheap.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
And this is something that I really wanted to talk about, as many of the roads are being resurfaced and the inner roads are being patched. We are talking about the road going up Naked Boy Hill, where we see it had been in terrible shape, and it's still in terrible shape, but the police had taken the initiative to haul in the contractors that supply cement. And I understand the reason for that, because that road seems to be the constant depository of cement when trucks are going up that hill, and with no sort of concern to the residents, it is just left there on the side. I know that it's being taken up, it's being cleaned up, because it is a nuisance, and it's irresponsible for the contractors to feel that they can simply drop waste, whether it's accidental, because I understand going up the hill and when it jogs, the cement in the back falls out. But the companies and them also have a responsibility to see to it that when this happens, you clean it up, because what you do is put other pedestrians, other drivers in danger, and also you damage the vehicle. So again, I'm saying congratulations to the police department for taking that initiative by calling in the contractors to deal with that situation and see to it that it doesn't happen again. And, you know, I also want to say, you know, to my colleagues that I appreciate the relationship that we have. Many of you all wouldn't know or wouldn't hear what goes on in the Council of Ministers. And as much as we may not agree on everything, but at the end, we come to one common goal and understanding that we need to fix and deal with the issues that's affecting St. Martin. And I can speak personally on a relationship with the Minister of Health, because we put our heads together and I would say, Minister Lee, this is a situation that needs to be taken care of. And he would say, well, why don't you look at it this way? For example, the old Soccer Garden Hotel, if you all know where it is, there is 2 huge big pools, huge, with water, green mucky, mosquito-infested water, and it's a situation that needs to be dealt with now. And I was speaking to the Minister of Health, and I said we should bore some holes in the wall and the water can run out. And he said, well, you know, there's another way to look at it. You can put something in the water that can kill off the larvae of the mosquitoes so we wouldn't have, but it's a serious situation. What you're looking there is a dengue and a Zika infestation waiting to happen if that is not taken care of. But why I make mention of my colleagues, I wouldn't have known what to do if I didn't had a conversation with the Minister of Health. So in that respect, I always say thank you for that. And also, I know the Minister of Education concerning the repairs of school. It will be a knock on the door and say, Minister, we need to talk about this. And it's always, well, why don't you look at it this way and look at it that way? So that's why, again, I'm saying to all the individuals out there that use our public roads, because it is not an easy task for government to take the initiative to resurface roads, to paint roads, and then they're taken for granted. And if you look out there now, you'll see that the guys are out there and they're doing a marvelous job. I want to thank the department head for that, for what they're doing, because they really seem to be putting some gust or some gust into it, or doing it with pride. I haven't seen sort of a new face on the public roads as what I'm seeing right now in Phillipsburg. And then, with that being said, I've been receiving a number of calls from residents alike complaining about sewage water, septic water, and it is a serious situation that we have in our society. I'm going to tell you the reasons why we haven't been able to reach out to you as yet. And it's simple. The inspection department, we are in need of vehicles, and that's the problem. That's the problem that we are having right now. And for me, it's always looking at a new approach, a different approach, how assistance can be given. And I'm saying to most of the affluent businesses in the community, you know, as much as government has a responsibility, you also have a responsibility. I would be coming to you and asking for the donation.